What happens when your emotions don't just affect you? They reshape reality. One performance, one note. And suddenly professors kneel, memories leak into the air, and time warps. Her music wasn't art, it was a weapon. This is what they didn't want you to see. A sea of obsidian stretches to the horizon, jagged with metallic cliffs and glassy dunes that hum faintly under the pale corona of twin stars. No wind, no light, but the thin shimmer of radiation bleeding from the cracked surface. The moon weeps, not with water, but with sound. Faint, pulsing tones echo across the landscape like ghost heartbeats. Somewhere in the dark, a single figure runs. Lina Sorrel, late 20s, gaunt but wiry, wears a decaying resonance suit patched with military tech and scrap-scavenged instruments. Her boots hammer against the basalt, sending out microshocks that bounce off the land's surface and return like sonar, painting the world an echo. She stops. Asterisk presses her gloved palm to the stone. Silence. Not through the ground, but through the air. A low-frequency moan creeps up from beneath the crust, so deep it seems to vibrate her ribcage from the inside out. Her pupils dilate. She whispers a note. G. The tone deepens, warms, then spikes suddenly. Dissonant, dangerous, a sound storm is coming. She yanks a tuning rod from her belt, long, black, forked, and slams it into the ground. It lights up with faint blue veins. She modulates a chord with her free hand, weaving it in midair like a maestro sculpting fire. The wind isn't real, but her skin tightens as if it were. She hears voices in the hell, fragments of past battles, training halls, the dying breath of friends. Her unit, gone. Lina Sorrel, Resonator Class 4, dismissed for psychogenic collapse. The words from the tribunal still echo in her skull, emotionally volatile, unfit for harmonic engagement, but they didn't understand. Her emotions didn't weaken her sound. They powered it. And right now, rage was rising. With it came the resonance, sharp, hot, precise. She let it build in her throat. Her larynx glowed faintly. An old augmentation. She turned her face to the black sky and sang. A single, piercing note, pure and searing. The storm split open. The dunes peeled back like layers of paper, revealing a submerged structure. Chrome ribs like a fossilized throat, pulsing with ancient light. A temple of sound, long buried, long forbiddance. She dropped to her knees, breath shuddering. Tears rolled sideways from her eyes in the moon's low gravity, floating like orbs of glass. One word left her lips, barely audible but impossibly clear. Father. The resonance answered. From the temple, something began to wake. The hall vibrates with silent pressure, not from noise but the potential of it. The kind of quiet that tastes like thunder before the strike. The kind that makes your skin crawl, in though no one's moved a muscle. Lina Sorrel stands alone at the edge of a semicircle of 60 students, each dressed in formal resonance gear, sleek, armored, tuned to their lineage. She doesn't belong here. Her suit's frayed at the joints, patched with scavenger mesh and military scraps. The only thing clean is the wooden instrument case strapped across her back. Across from her, like a monolith carved from obsidian, stands Professor Ekron Vox, 6'7", veins like conduit wire. A voice so powerful it once shattered a battleship. From orbit, they say his vocal cords were rebuilt using crystalline memory from extinct beasts. His presence presses against the room like gravity. He doesn't look at Lina. He dissects her with his eyes. Miss Sorrel, he says, each word, placed like a guillotine. You are a human? Yes. Laughter breaks around the room like glass. Some try to hide it. Most don't bother. Lina doesn't move. Not augmented. Vox continues, circling her. No synthetics. No harmonics grafted into your spine. Not even a throat amp. And yet, here you are in my class. He stops in front of her, leans in close. Tell me, what exactly do you think you're going to do with that wooden relic? The case on her back shifts slightly, as if it hears him. Vox taps the mic node at his collar. A high-pitched click echoes through the hall. Let me be clear, he says, voice now amplified. Sound is not music here. Sound is war. And war does not favor the soft. He steps back, arms out. Demonstration time. Open your case, Sorrel. Let's hear what kind of noise the dead still make. A hush falls. Lina's hands hover over the case's brass latch. Her breath is tight. Not fear, something else. Something older. Deeper. She opens it. Inside, a weathered, hand-carved resonant lyre. Strings of crystalline thread, runes burned, faintly into the neck. Not Academy script? Something older. Gasps ripple through the students. One flinches. Another steps back. Vox narrows his eyes. That model was banned after the siege of Voralis. Only 6 ever made. All destroyed. Lina says nothing. She steps forward, holds the lyre at her side like a blade, and strums one single chord. It shouldn't have echoed, but it did. Twice. Once in the hall, then again, an octave lower. From inside every person in the room, students clutch their heads. One collapses to a knee. Vox's amplification ring shorts out with a snap. Lina's eyes stay locked on him. Not defiant, not proud, just awake. You asked what I was doing here, she says quietly, voice flat. I'm not here to play. She turns to walk away. As she closes the case, a faint hum escapes from the lyre, sound not made by her hand. The strings vibrate themselves, a harmonic code, a forbidden frequency. Etched into the heart of the instrument is a name, almost invisible unless the light hits just right. Sorrel, Kai. Deepwave project their father's name, and a truth that was never supposed to survive. Lina walks fast, eyes fixed ahead, lyre strapped tight across her back. Her boots echo through the stone corridor, but the sound feels off, dampened, like the walls are swallowing it. She's had enough. The humiliation, the stares, the pity. She doesn't need their doctrine, their precision, their polished arrogance. She was trained by war and grief, not a score sheet. She reaches the steel exit gate and punches in her departure code. Authorization rejected. A flat voice says. She exhales, hard, override. Sorrel, Lina, Class 4 guest clearance. Rejected. She slams her fist into the wall. Override. Not yet, child. The voice doesn't come from the wall this time. Lina turns. Out of the shadows steps a figure, tall, plated in copper alloys, elegant but battered, like a grand piano that's seen too many revolutions. A single blue eye glows in its domed head. Its voice box is analog, slightly warped, like an old vinyl record. This is ARQ-7. The Academy's last sympathetic instructor unit, a robot originally designed to teach emotion modulation through sound. Before that practice was outlawed. He moves with care, not out of fear, but respect, as if the air around her lyre is sacred. You are leaving before your signal is ready. It's never going to be ready. Lina snaps. I don't want to perform. I don't want to resonate. I came to bury that thing. She turns away. ARQ-7 stays silent for a beat, then speaks gently, but it will not let itself be buried. Not while it still remembers your father. She freezes. What do you know about him? ARQ-7 steps closer, carefully opens the side panel of his chest. A compartment slides out. Inside, a metallic tuning stone, etched with the same ancient runes found on her lyre. Your father built this too, Ark says, and encoded a memory into your instrument. I've heard it only once on the day he vanished. Lina's breath falters. He said you would run. He said you would resist the call. But when the lyre sang on its own, that would mean the time had come. The time for what? Ark's head tilts, the eye whirring faintly. For you to remember why you stopped performing. A younger Lina, maybe 12, crouches in a bunker beside her father, Kai Sorrel, a former lead engineer of the Deepwave project. His hands tremble as he tunes her tiny lyre. Lina, this isn't just music. What you feel, what you are, shapes the wave. Never play angry. Never play scared. Sound responds. Outside, chaos, sirens, walls shaking with sonic impacts, enemy harmonics tearing through the city above like invisible knives. Lina plays a soft note. The wall begins to melt, literally dissolve from the inside out. Her father's face pales. No, stop. You're amplifying the ambient grief, Lina. Stop. But she doesn't. She can't. Her fear has its own voice, and it's louder than her father's. The building collapses in a howl of discordant agony. Lina drops to her knees, shaking. I killed them. No, ARQ-7 says, kneeling beside her. You were a child. What you did was survive. She looks up at him, tears starting to form but not fall. Everyone keeps talking about resonance like it's a gift. It's not. It's a curse. It hurts people. Ark pauses. Yes, but it also heals them. From around the corner. Footsteps, voices, students, faculty, academy security. She's not alone anymore. Sorrel. You're under evaluation. You can't just walk out. A male student steps forward. One of Vox's disciples, Taryn Vale. Rich, perfect pitch, genetically modified lungs. Sneering. What's the matter? Gonna cry a song at us? Or maybe kill another city? Lina stands slowly. Her back is straight, her eyes clear. She unlatches the case and lifts the lyre. You want a performance? She plucks one note. The tuning stone in ARQ's chest hums in reply. Then another note. This one resonates with something hidden. Beneath the lyre's frame, a small compartment unlocks. Inside is a scroll of notation handwritten by Sorrel. At the bottom, scrawled in red ink, if you hear this, the waveform has awakened. The weeping moon is listening. Protect the last resonance. The light in the hall flickers. Far above them, deep within the moon's core, something pulses. Something ancient, and it's calling her name. The stage is massive, a perfect acoustic dome suspended above a circle of hovering resonance platforms. It looks less like a concert hall and more like the interior of a living throat, built to amplify emotion as much as sound. Every student, instructor, and faculty member is in attendance. Hundreds of bodies, 1,000 beating hearts, all focused on one lone figure at center stage. Lina Sorrel. No armor, no augmentations, just her hands, her breath, and her father's forbidden lyre, cradled in her lap. By decree of the High Council of Resonantia, booms a voice overhead. You will now demonstrate your capacity for controlled harmonic engagement. Failure to perform results in immediate expulsion and revocation of all access to sound space certification. She doesn't move, not yet. Across the dome, in the highest gallery, Professor Vox leans forward, unblinking, watching her like a bomb that hasn't decided if it's going to explode. Lina slowly inhales, and then she plays. The first chord is not loud. It's delicate, like touching the surface of still water. The note rolls out into the dome and blooms, expanding with impossible softness, like petals opening in a vacuum. A few students in the front row flinch. One gasps. They feel something. A memory that isn't theirs. The second phrase descends, low and aching pain set to melody. It scrapes along the edges of the soul, unearthing the raw things. Heartbreak, regret, moments people thought they'd buried deep. One girl begins to weep, silently. Another student grips their seat as if the sound is pulling them under. Lina keeps playing. Now the forbidden's harmonics emerge, not through the strings, through her voice. She hums a resonance tone that fractures the space around her. The walls ripple. The floating platforms vibrate at different frequencies, forming a lattice of suspended time. Every breath in the room syncs to her rhythm. And then it happens. The core sequence from her father's hidden scroll activates inside. The lyre, a tonal cipher, ancient and alive, rises from the strings like light bent into sound. It projects from the instrument in waves, shaping physical illusions in the dome. Memories appear in the air, not hers. Vox's, a much younger Vox, sits at a console, arguing with Sorrel. We can't broadcast emotional signatures unfiltered, Vox says. You'll collapse reality structures. Your daughter is too unstable. Kai turns. Furious. She's not unstable. She's human. She's what we need. Vox watches a younger Lina behind glass, tears on her cheeks as she sings. The walls bend, the instruments tremble. Shut it down. Vox yells, shut it. But he doesn't. He watches. Professor Vox stands now, eyes wide, his past, his shame, playing back to him in perfect fidelity. The room sees it too. They realize. He knew. He helped create the Deep Wave project, and when it all went wrong, he buried it and tried to bury her with it. Lina plays her final note. It starts soft, then folds into itself like a collapsing star. The sound creates a gravity of emotion. People sob, collapse. A few scream not in pain, but release. Others whisper names they haven't said in years. Regret and hope swirl in the room like dust in a sunbeam. And then silence. The lyre's glow fades. Lina sets it down. She doesn't look at the audience. She looks up at Vox. He doesn't speak. He can't. But his voice, the legendary voice of Professor Ekron Vox, is gone. His vocal resonance system has overloaded. His power taken by truth. Lina steps down from the stage. No applause. Just stunned stillness. Then, from the back of the hallway, Q7 begins to hum. A low, reverent tone. Others join in, one by one. The crowd begins to hum with him, a quiet, imperfect harmony, a sign not of mastery, but of understanding. Silence, but not the comfortable kind. This silence is holding its breath, trembling on the edge of something massive. Lina stands alone at center stage, her shoulders relaxed, her expression unreadable. Her father's lyre rests in her hands, no longer glowing but still humming quietly, like it remembers what it just unleashed. The audience doesn't move. Not one student, not one faculty member, not even the air itself dares interrupt. A single sound, metal on marble. Professor Vox kneels. His great frame folds slowly to the floor. No theatrics, no words. He bows his head. The gesture cuts through the crowd like lightning. This man, this myth of sound warfare, whose silence battalions with a single breath submits, not to force, to truth. Lina doesn't look at him, not yet. Instead, she raises her eyes to the high alcove above the amphitheater where the Academy's central AI system, Cora, monitors all performances. A cool, disembodied female voice speaks from the dome. Unauthorized harmonic profile detected. Classified. Deep wave signature. Potential threat level. Extinction class. Initiating containment protocol. Galactic code. Black echo. Gasps. Panic. Movement. The walls begin to close. Emergency tones rise harsh, mechanical, drowning out emotion with cold logic. Lina turns her gaze to Vox at last. He looks up at her, eyes wide, voice gone. She kneels in front of him. And whispers, I never wanted power. I wanted to be heard. There's a difference. Then she rises. Walks calmly through the trembling crowd, toward the exit gate. The tuning stone in her lyre begins to glow again, guiding her, pulsing with ancient resonance. As she disappears into the shadows, we cut to space. A fleet of black ships breaks from silent orbit. Sleek, faceless, built not for diplomacy but ERASURE. No insignias, no flags. Just one transmission, bouncing across star relays. Deep wave signal detected. Target, Lina Sorrel. Recover or terminate.